Okay, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. It's Bryony. She's amazing. I've known Bryony for a little while now, and we've worked together. And she's really incredible. I have a little bit about her. And she spent 6 years working on the ocean, organizing the rich and famous and all their belongings. Before she moved home to start her own business as a professional organizer called OSO Organized. She's now in her second year of business and finds more and more love for her business with every new client. She declutters and organizes homes and office spaces. Life nowadays is so hectic and fast-paced. Jobs, marriages, children, activities and family leave us with little time in between. That's why she loves being able to give an extra set of hands to do those pesky jobs that we seldom have time for. She's going to share some of her tips and tricks to help you be more organized at home and at the office. Welcome, Bryony.
Well, I forgot about that introduction, so that's going to give me a whole 2.5 minutes that I can spend on other stuff now. That's great. So I joined Umhlanga Women Achievers. I joined Umhlanga Women Achievers when I first started my business because Alice Leah said to me, you need to join as many networks as you can because it's all very well having a business and having a product to sell, but if you don't tell anybody about it, nobody's going to buy it from you. So I joined Umhlanga Women Achievers and I arrived, and I think the evening you had to wear something glitzy. So I arrived at my first meeting in this black dress, and I didn't know anybody. No, I knew Wendy Cornell from Etchings. And I must say, I've grown in the last 2 years. I've gained so much wonderful knowledge. I've been inspired and been motivated, and I'm really grateful that I can give back to you ladies and hopefully remind you of some tips and tricks that you probably already know that have forgotten about, or just educate you on some new stuff. I'm going to spend 20 minutes split between home and office, and I'm going to give you some suggestions there. What we do at OSO Organize is we declutter and organize homes and office spaces. If you've seen those reality shows, Clean House or Hoarders or Extreme Home Makeover, you know where the bus drives away and they go, that's what the why behind OSO Organized. I meet my clients and they're embarrassed, they're frustrated, they think that this is the worst I've ever seen. They don't want me to tell anybody. And then when we go on the journey together, we work out what they want from their space. We find things, we go through memory trips, and I develop these wonderful bonds with my clients. And at the end, they're like, I can't believe we did it. I didn't think we were going to get it done in 6 hours. I thought you were joking. I had a client, I can't remember who she is now, but she said to me, I just keep going back and looking in my room because I love it and it looks so beautiful. And that's how I want you to feel about your space. And there's a lot of negative connotations attached to needing a professional organizer. Well, I'm here to tell you that I think everybody needs a professional organizer because actually we have so much going on in our lives. We have jobs, and you have to live to a certain standard, and you've got to do your kids' stuff, and this stuff, and the next stuff. And when you have 4 seconds to let your nail varnish dry, you've also got to use that time to unpack and repack your office and make sure that it's not cluttered, and your garage, and make sure that your cupboard's nice and clean, and that your kids' toys room doesn't look like a bomb's hit it. That time doesn't exist, and that's okay. And that's why we do what we do at OSO Organized. You would have seen the piece of paper that was on your table. These are just things that I've collected along the way. Stick it on your fridge, add to it, take off. Every household is different. It's just a checklist to remind you of things that you need to do to maintain your home. Like 2 weeks ago, my washing machine was spilling water everywhere, and I was like, oh. And I hadn't checked my pipes for a couple of months, and so when they had to cut the pipe out to get rid of the blockage, I then thought, I better add that to the list because that's something you need to do is put some stuff down your drains every 3 months to make sure that they don't block. So that's on the list. So household, I'm going to go straight into the most delicate place, the closet. Because everybody has so much emotional attachment to their clothes. We buy them when we're thin and then we put on weight. Or the other way around. Or we spend a lot of money on the clothing and then we second guess it. That's fine. My suggestion is to you, don't worry about the maybe items because there's going to be a lot of maybe items. Focus on the items that you are sure you don't like. So what I would suggest to you, there's a little star there on my door handle, put a shopping bag on your door handle. Every time you go in to put your clothing away, find something to wear, put your laundry away, you come across something and you're like, oh, never going to wear that again. Stick it in the bag. When the bag's full, take it to charity. You've removed the negative association with decluttering because you haven't worried about it, and you've cleared your closet unknowingly, and you've given to charity. So it's all win-win. Okay. Second of all, the top star. I understand that closets are not built to fit all the stuff we have. Houses are not built with big enough closets. But don't put stuff in your closet. Your closet's a space that you use every day. Don't put stuff in there that you don't use every day, like your suitcases and your bedding and your children's Christmas gifts and that kind of stuff. That means this is your personal space. Keep it to yourself. If you're worried about your suitcases, put them in the guest closet, put them all inside each other and in the garage in a black bag, then they'll be safe, and then they're all together. And then put stuff that you don't wear all the time at the top. Those are my sweaters at the top and my handbags, so that I can get to them during the winter and stuff. Then I'm going to move on to the underwear drawer. So we spend so much money on our underwear. And I find so often that my clients have squished all their bras into a drawer and they're getting all like bent and deformed, and then they wonder why the wires pop out and they lose all their shape. Get a little box. You can get them from the Crazy Store. Little dividers, put them and lie them nicely so that they all fold over each other and they'll maintain their shape. Underwear and pajamas. We wear these things every day. We live in a very humid climate. Bacteria grows in your clothing. It's nothing you can do about it. You can bleach, you can hot wash, it doesn't matter. They say that you should rotate your underwear every year. If it's discolored or lost its elasticity or it's got little fairy balls on it, I'm giving you a big ticket, ladies. Throw them away, buy yourself a few select pairs of nice underwear, wear them until they're dead, and then do it again. Because you'll save space, you'll save some money, and you'll feel great when you put on your beautiful underwear. What do you think? Yeah. Okay. So, furthering on to that, most of our drawers are not deep enough for the drawer dividers that you buy. The drawer dividers are generally like this deep. My mom's drawers, for one, are like quite deep. So what I would suggest is things like shoe boxes, cereal boxes, ice cream containers, or you can even just go to the plastic store and just measure, and then you can find boxes that will be, cut them and then put them in. So what you do is you put the ice cream box in and you cut around the edge so that it's flush, and then it maximizes your storage space. Because if it's too shallow, you're just going to start piling stuff on top, and then it's not going to be nice and organized. This is a personal, it's up to you. I hang all my stuff in color coordination because I just think it looks nicer and it makes me feel like it's organized. And it's, yeah, you can hang them in style, it's up to you, but I just think color makes it look nice. Hangers. Everybody has got like 5 items on one hanger. 5 items. So what's going to happen to the 5th poor little item? Never worn. Forgotten about. And when it's one arm's come off, and now the one's really long and the other one, yeah. If you want to maintain the integrity of your clothes that you spend your hard-earned money on, buy hangers. Buy hangers and use a hanger for each item. Choose, okay. No space. I know. Tell me about it. My husband walked into my cupboard the other day and he's like, you know, I know this person who can declutter your closet for you. Okay, so moving out of the bedroom and into the bathroom. Every time I go to a client's home, I give their child or somebody else a box and I say, go and collect all the medication. Because that stuff ends up all over the house. And when you've got a stressing headache, where is it? You don't know. So, what I would suggest is having boxes, grouping your like items together, and labeling the boxes. You can see I've labeled the front and the top of the box, because sometimes you're looking up at a cupboard and sometimes you're looking down at a cupboard. If you're putting anything in a box, label the top and the bottom, because the lids always seem to go to the soft place. And at least if they are labeled, they'll come back. I had a lovely client of mine whose mother was very ill, and she had a whole cupboard of medication. And so we spent a whole day going through her medication, and we threw half of it away because it was all out of date. Okay, so what you need to do is look at the little tab at the end there, or on the edge of the tube, and your expiration date will be there. Okay, you go to the doctor, he gives you a prescription, and he writes, take it 3 times a day. Very good. And then, 12 months down the line, you come to this thing and you think, what on earth was that for? The Alcoxarocatine means nothing, so just Google it and it comes up. Just Google it, it comes up, and just write it on the box. Makes it easier. Okay, same thing with the makeup. This is what it looks like underneath, how long it will expire from date of opening. So just scribble on the side that you bought it in January. I understand makeup's expensive and I don't expect you to just go and throw it all away, but just be mindful of it. I can tell you right now my liquid line is expired, for sure. I bought it at my wedding and I'm still using it. Anyway, okay, moving on into my favorite place, which is the linen closet. So what I suggest is when it comes to season change and you're changing your bed linen, wash your bedding. It's difficult with hypoallergenic duvets and pillows because they all go all bally and stuff. So what I would suggest is putting them in a bath of some soapy water and bleach. If your pillows and your duvets are yellow, they need to be bleached or you need to buy new ones. Because it's all oil from your face and bacteria. Okay. So wash it, dry it, put it in the sun a little, and then you can put it away for next season. If you're not going to go through your bedding closet, or any closet for that matter, just bear in mind that we live in a humid climate, and the melamine, the white materials that are used to make our cupboards, they do grow mold on them. So if you see little yellow spots, just get some soapy water and wipe them out. Also vacuum the top of your cupboards, because we have geckos and spiders, and they have their little homes going on up there, and then all of that goes all over your stuff, and you know, just keep on top of it and then it'll be nice and easy. So that's yes. And what I would also suggest is going through your linen closet and pulling out all your bed linen and making complete sets. Because I can't tell you how many people have got bed linen for beds they don't own anymore, which is not really useful. And also you end up using the same ones over and over again, and then the other ones don't get used. Or the pillowcases from that set are ruined because you use them all the time, and the bed set never gets used. You put them in sets, you can store them inside the pillowcase. I store mine, those are mine at the bottom. I store them inside the duvet that way. Pull it out, use it, and put it back. I would also suggest that you only need 3 sets of bed linen per bed. One for the bed, one for the laundry, and one for rotation. Any more than that, you won't end up using them because you're not going to go to the bottom of the pile. You're just going to take off the top. And also don't forget damp absorbers, because our cupboards are really, really, really moist in Durban specifically. Okay, moving on into the office. Most of my clients, I just have to let you know, are very organized people, and they have beautiful homes, and they have beautiful offices, and they've got good filing systems and all that. But when they sit at their desks, then I discover that their drawers are full of random stuff, and they've got stuff on their desks that they haven't, I mean, the dust is crazy. So this is my suggestion to you. It's Friday afternoon, not feeling so in the mood for work anymore, weekend's coming, still got to be there until 4:30. Spend an hour. The first one will be longer. Spend an hour, half an hour. Pull everything off your desk, give it a good wipe. Maybe if you've got a vacuum, buy vacuum cleaners, everybody. Nobody seems to have decent vacuum cleaners. You can't clean your house unless you have a vacuum cleaner. Things that you don't need, take them away from your space. I find lots of people who work for themselves at home are sharing a space, which is fine, but you have to delegate your spaces. You can't have them merge, otherwise it just gets really messy. So anything that doesn't belong in your office or your desk, move it away. Go through your mails on a Friday, just make a to-do list, send out some meeting requests, delete, clear out your inboxes, go through your in-tray, do a bit of filing. You all know this, but it's just like, oh, everybody hates filing. And then a very good friend of mine who's an IT specialist, she says, you want to know why it works to turn your machine off? because everybody likes to have a nap every now and again. So that's what you should do on a Friday, is just give your machine a little nap, back your phone up first, and then to your computer, and then turn it off, and then take a nice cloth and wipe everything down. The bacteria on your phone, and your chair, and your drawers, and everything. It's quite crazy. Moving further on into the computer, Glarysoft's a really good program to use to remove any information that has connected to your machine when you've gone on the internet, which is crazy because we're on the internet all the time. Unfortunately, Mac, the product is not free, only this is for PC. And then just be mindful of your inbox. They are very small little inboxes. We might think that they go on forever, but they don't. So just try and clean them out every now and again. And I promise you that if you delete an email that you need, I've done it, just email the person and they'll send it to you again. It's not the end of the world, I promise you. Once you've started letting go, it'll just get easier and easier. And when it comes to your phone, this is a great thing to do when you're waiting for something to happen, you're at a client, you're waiting to pick kids up or something. Just go to your phone and just get rid of all the stuff you don't need. This is what I've done with my phone. You can't really see it, but I've labeled all my contacts under client. So the first thing that happens when I speak to somebody, I save their number as client, so-and-so. And then if I speak to somebody who's a supplier, I save them as supplier, because then it's just easy for me to find them. And I've got all my Anschlager Women Achievers there, Katja's there, yes, Janae's there, yeah. So obviously I got married last year, so all my wedding people are under there, so it just makes it easier to find. Just saves a bit of time. Okay, so everyone says to me, what do you do with all the stuff that you take away from clients' homes and offices? Well, I throw it all in the recycle bin because it's all paper. This lady, I actually must get hold of her because I really hope that I can go back and work in her space again because it was really good fun. She was printing out every email that she received. So I was there for like a whole day, and I just think we need to be mindful about printing stuff out, because stuff that I find is business cards, flyers, envelopes that you've had the thing taken out and you leave it there, and it just ends up bogging down your space. So these are 3 apps that I use. CamScan is great for your receipts for your accountants. So because mine have all faded, so I just take a picture and I send it to my accountant. TurboScan I use for all my client contracts, which I can send to them. Also, Google Docs now, you can basically amend on your phone, so that you can, if you save a signature, you can just send them that way without actually printing anything out. And then CAM cards, really great for this evening. If everybody gets CAM card and takes a picture of the business cards they were given, it saves all the details to your telephone book, and it just makes it easier to send to somebody if you want to do business with them. Nice and easy. So this is the last thing, but not the least. This takes a little bit of practice. I decided when I started my business that Monday was going to be my day when I was going to be out of the office, because then I was going to see all my people, and then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I could focus on either admin or seeing clients. So what I do is on a Monday, obviously there are meetings that you can't avoid and you have to have them at another time, but if I know that if I start my meetings at 10 o'clock on a Monday, I can get 5 good hours of meetings in with half an hour in between. It means that I'm saving on fuel because I'm out already. It means that I'm going to focus in those meetings. I'm not just going to let them go on and go from breakfast meetings to lunch meetings to evening meetings. If you are in a job that's an office-bound job, it's quite a nice idea to do it on like a Wednesday, because then it just breaks your week up a little bit. Just an idea, so then you can be a bit more productive. And then, the best bits. So, these are a few of my clients over the last couple of years. These are some before and afters. This, you actually can't see the back of this office. This office was used for 30 years. He took over from somebody who didn't clear out either. So we were throwing out paper from 1970. That's great, because it was just like, oh, we can get rid of that, we can get rid of that. Look at all that free space. It was fantastic. So so he retired, and we gave his office over to somebody else, nice and organized. This lady, I loved her. She was great. She phoned me and she said, I have a room where things go to die. And she was right. But basically what it was things like her kids changed school, so she had the old school bags, and she was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, I'll just put it there, and I'll come back to it. And then she did this, and she was changed her jobs, and so she had all of that stuff, and she was, I'm just going to put it there, and I'll come to it now. And then she turned around, and she was like, I don't know how it got like this. And I was like, it's fine. You have 2 jobs and children and your husband works at home. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And it took us 4 hours and we cleared it out. All paper, gone. She's now put a bed in there. So now it's a guest room. So that's nice. And this lady I saw over a couple of weeks. We did 3 hours every week. And you'd be surprised how much you can get done in 3 hours. She had 2 little babies. And she just didn't get a chance to get rid of all their baby stuff. And so they were like 4 and 5. And she still had like her feeding pillows in her bedroom. And we were like, no, got to get that stuff out. So we pulled everything out and got it into the garage and so she could get rid of everything. So the lesson behind this is that it's okay to need help, because everybody needs a little bit of help. And being organized takes time. It's habit forming. It took me 6 months to remember to take my shopping bag from the house to the car, and then I would forget it in the car. And then eventually I got to the point where I was like, I'm sorry, cashier, I'm just going to go and get my bag. And I do it all the time. I still do it now because I also don't like plastic. But now the ladies at Spa laugh because they're like, here's the bag lady, because I come in with my bags and all my stuff goes in my bags, and then I unpack it at the till and I put it back in and I'm like, bye. So it takes time, and don't beat yourself up if you get it wrong. And also, if you clean a space, just remember, like kids' rooms, offices, these are all spaces that we're in all the time, and we're using them. So they're going to regress because it's human nature. Your children are blessed, their little hearts. We can label and color coordinate and teach them, but sometimes they're like, I don't want to do that, please. I just want to leave it, put it in the box. So that's fine. It's okay. And so that's all I can give for you this evening. If you need help, if I can give you suggestions, just give me a shout. And just remember, it's okay to not have all your ducks in a row.